All right, hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We are going to be showing you how to create a TXT upload so that you don't have to manually key in unemployment or state W2s. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen here. I have to do it a different way than I normally do because I need to be showing you guys more than one thing. All right, I got everything ready, I believe. All right, so we've got QuickBooks Desktop company file that we ran payroll in. We go up to the employee here and select payroll tax forms and W2s. And I'm going to create a state W2 e-file. And next we'll create the state unemployment e-file. And so it's going to open up in Excel. And the states that allow electronic filing that QuickBooks can help with is Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Washington, D.C., Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Vermont, and West Virginia. Whew, that was a mouthful. I'm glad I learned my abbreviations when I was in 7th grade. All right. So what you need to do is get the QuickBooks data, and that imports the QuickBooks data into Excel for you to review. Do not send this Excel workbook to the state agency. Then it'll walk you through a SMART interview where it asks just a few questions to get some additional information for your state agency. Then you click create the W2 file, and then it will save a format that your state agency uses when you do this process, but you have to follow the instructions for the electronic filing. And then it'll ask you to save the Excel spreadsheet, which I recommend saving it as the spreadsheet and the TXT file both. So that's 2 separate steps that we'll do later. And send the W2 file to the state agency. Note, QuickBooks does not send your W2 file to the state agency. You have to go to the state website and follow their instructions for uploading. All right, so we hit continue. This is a Minnesota-based company file, so Minnesota was already selected, and that is probably because I have already done this before. But if it's the first time doing this, you'll probably have to click the drop down and select the state, and then you click get QuickBooks data. And this process takes a few minutes. It takes longer the more data that it's pulling. So this is fairly small, only a couple employees. So now this pop-up says that the W2 data has been retrieved from QuickBooks, and the next steps are to review it for accuracy, make any adjustments if needed, and review your W2 e-file. Okay, so I normally will have printed a payroll summary. I don't know why that escaped me there for a second, but I download a payroll summary and I add the lines so that I can reconcile what are going to be federal taxable wages and what are going to be state taxable wages, because there are certain things that are excluded, and that's covered in another video. And so then what I do, and I always have to remember to take this out, is I throw an auto sum so that I can get the totals here for the forms, because that's another way that I check. First, I do a quick check to make sure the box 1 and box 16 wages match, and that they match what I was expecting them to be on my report. I have had some where the owners, the 2% S Corp owner health insurance didn't get added. And so I've had to manually add that to box 1 and 16 and make sure that it's not on box 3 and box 5 wages. All right. So I've already reviewed this and to make sure that it matches what my report says and what I was expecting it to say. So now I'm going to delete this line because it will cause issues when you upload it into the state. And we go here under QuickBooks and oh, come on. There's a wizard somewhere and it's normally under QuickBooks. Well, it's not going to walk us through the wizard. So I'm just going to manually hit save as, and I'm going to choose a place. I'm just going to throw it in my documents folder and call it state W2. I'm getting the warning saying that it's not going to be, or that it doesn't do it if it's got macros. I'm just going to close that and I'm going to do the process, show you the process for the state unemployment, and the ending process is exactly the same for both. And it was working right before I did this recording. All right. So for the state unemployment, the states that you can use this feature for are Alabama, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Vermont. So we'll click continue, and this is the exact same message that we just read. So we'll hit continue, and we're going to do it for Minnesota unemployment, 2021 quarter 4. So we'll click get data. And again, it takes a little bit of time depending on how much data that we're populating here. And it is processing. There we go. It just finished. And now it says that the state report was created. Review for accuracy, make adjustments, create your state e-file by picking the start interview. Click the add ins tab on the ribbon. Okay. So maybe I needed to read the instructions on the W2 one because I think I missed clicking on the add-ins because I went straight to QuickBooks. All right. So verify that this information, the Social Security. So I've got fake Social Security numbers, fake names, fake last names, but the state gross wages and in Minnesota, we have to put in the hours worked, and we have to tell it if they worked on the 12th of the first month, the second month, and the third month, if they're an officer. And in Minnesota, even though we've got, Big Boss as the owner, we say no because they have done all the work to opt in to paying the state unemployment. So everything here, and again, I throw in the auto sum for the wages and the hours so that I can make sure that it matches the report, and then I take it off. All right, so then we go into the add-ins and start the interview. Because I used fake numbers, it's telling me that 3 of the ones have social security numbers that are fake, but they are all fake. I forgot about the no social security number starts with the 9, and then I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is just shows that it's a fake number. So I'm just going to bypass this. I'm going to just on the fly fix this with different fake numbers. Oh, and that, why is it not letting me put the number in? There we go. I'll just type it. And we'll just start this one with a 4 to make that easier. All right, so we'll start the interview again. And here is where we save the form. So this is the file that we're going to send to Minnesota. So I will make sure I put it in the right file path. And this is where I'm going to save it, is just in my documents folder. But we want to give it a name that we're going to know what client it is. And the client in QuickBooks I have called General HVAC Company. So I'll name it General HVAC Company, and it's 2021 Q4. And with the TXT file, you cannot have spaces. So where I want to visually have separation, I put an underscore in, because a dash does not usually work. It's supposed to, but it doesn't. It'll sometimes give me trouble. So then we hit next, and it tells me here's the federal EIN and the state agency ID. Of course, they're fake. And then create the unemployment file. And so complete, your state has been created with 7 state records. Next, we have to log into the Minnesota unemployment website and follow the instructions on the website to upload this. And I have a file where I save everything payroll related for my clients. So this gets saved for forever. We have everything redundantly backed up. The only time we remove any records from our redundant backups is after they haven't been a client of ours, or after 5 years of the payroll records. So we only keep our records for 5 years, and that is in our written file retention plan. Okay, so then we're going to hit OK. And then I save the workbook because this is my backup. So, and this is not one that you can submit to the state. So I'm going to go into the documents and just save it as state unemployment. I'll save that again. When you're saving it, you want to save it with the same name as the TXT file. And that's just, and always have a naming convention so that if you're looking for something, you can just type in it without knowing where the file is. You can type it in your search bar on your computer and find it. I am clicking wrong things. So I'm just so that we can finish up the W2, because it's exactly the same, but I just want to show you guys how to do it. And we're just going to assume that we've already reconciled and verified everything. So as soon as it loads, I'm just going to go into the, and see, this is how it normally goes. It pops up with what we want. We click start interview, and we've got the same issue with the social security numbers. So I'm just going to put a 4 in front, because around here numbers start with a 4 if you're from here. All right, so go back to start the interview. I understand that I must carefully review and answer the following questions. So we say next. It chooses where we want to save it. Again, name it something that matches your file convention that you are going to be able to search for later. And it wants you to verify all of this information. So the EIN, the state agency number, the employment type, and you just want to make sure that the correct one is here. If they happen to change their federal tax ID number during the year, and it does occasionally happen where you'll have to you can report 2 different EINs to one state agency ID. And then you choose the kind of employer. And this is where, if it's a federal government, state or local government, a 501c3, a tax exempt employer, state or and local tax exempt employer, but most common is other, none apply. And then make sure that the address is correct. And if this business closed, we would want to make sure that this box is checked. And if we're a third party, so we would fill this part out. I'm not going to fill that part out here, but it's pretty self-explanatory how to get that filled out. And then we do need to fill that part out. So I'm just going to say that it's Big Boss and the phone number, put a fake one in, and a fake one there, and say next. Congratulations, it's complete. So then we want to create the file. And so now it's been created. And again, I always recommend saving the workbook. All right, so that is how you create state W2 and state unemployment unemployment insurance electronic upload files, so that you don't have to manually type everything in. And again, it is only for the states that I listed. I'll have the states listed in the description below the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends if you think that this is valuable.